Meet Burkina Faso's young innovators, teenagers turning humble scraps into machines of wonder. These robots, simple yet profound, lift, move, and inspire. They are not mere inventions. They are testaments to what flourishes when opportunity meets determination. And for that opportunity, we owe a nod to Capt.Ibrahim Traoré, whose vision of empowerment has unlocked the genius within these young hearts. Under Traore's leadership, Burkina Faso is reclaiming its destiny, a land where self-reliance blooms anew. But let us pause and reflect. This brilliance could scarcely have emerged when the French held sway here. In those days, colonial hands gripped tight, stifling African creativity. They shaped education not to uplift us, but to serve their own ends, leaving it hollow, a tool to train clerks, not dreamers. Our minds were caged, our potential buried beneath their control. Innovation like this, it was unthinkable then, for they feared the power of an African unbound. Now, with every wire twisted and every gear turned, these young inventors rewrite the story. Thanks to Capt.Ibrahim Traore's resolve, they wield tools, not just metal and circuits, but the freedom to imagine that colonial rule denied us. This is the Pan-African way. From the markets of Dakar to the hills of Rwanda, we rise by nurturing our own. Burkina Faso's children prove that Africa's strength is in its people, our creativity, our will, our unshakable roots. So let us honor these radiant souls and the leader who lifts them. Burkina Faso's young innovators are a beacon, shining where once there was a shadow. Together, across this continent, from Tunis to Johannesburg, we rise. Professional in our purpose, sweet in our unity, and limitless in our promise. This is Africa's bright tomorrow, built today by the hands of its liberators.
Vitani kwa mfumu muvorese mbeu zonse pano sizala mbeu za masamba titano nazo basi mpaka chimanga ziza bwele.
You can't go wrong if you call this young man the Elon Musk of Africa. He built a racing car, a car that has everything we already know about other cars, fast and powerful. It has a steering wheel, a gear stick, a dashboard, turn signal lights and headlights. It even has front and rear wings, just like a Formula 1 car. How did he build this car? And can it go as fast as a Formula 1 car?
Mimi kwa jina naitwa Godfrey, ni mwenyeji wa mkoa Kagera, ila sasa hivi niko Dar es Salaam.
My name is Godfrey Charles. I was born in 1996 in Kagera, but now I live in Dar es Salaam. I only went to school until the 7th grade. He started collecting scrap metals, bit by bit, doing research day by day with zero knowledge about how to build a car. From scratch, he assembled piece of metal by piece of metal, wire to wire, with many failures and no one to help. After 1 year and 2 months, a Formula 1 looking car was born. It has a steering wheel, a gear stick, a dashboard, turn signal lights and headlights, with also both front and rear wings, just like a Formula 1 car. It can go up to 120 kilometers per hour. Godfrey today drives the car he made with his own hands from scratch, not because he was born into wealth or had a fancy education, but the difficult life went through, and he doesn't plan to stop there. I have a big dream to do something else that is much higher than the car. He dreams of building a plane and even a boat, but it's tough for him because he doesn't have much help. He's hopeful that someday he'll get the help he needs to make his dreams come true. I have a big dream. I want to build a super fast car, one that can go at least 300 miles per hour. I dream of making a sports car that can zoom down the road like lightning. But making this dream come true isn't easy. It takes a lot of expensive equipment and hard work. However, I've been researching how to build airplanes, and I discovered that I can make a small plane that can carry at least 4 people. It's an exciting possibility. I'm really hopeful that I can find people who will support me in my dreams. With their help, I know I can do even more amazing things.
That is great. That's great. I'm very happy that even after they cut the main stems, the main branches, they forgot to cut the roots. They forgot to cut the roots, and that's why today the breed that is being born from Africa, it's a different breed that is doing and producing a lot of great people. A lot of great people. These are the things that the world cannot show you because they never expected the great things like this to be produced in Africa. And I love what is really being happening in Africa. And you know what? We are doing the best. We are trying so hard to make sure that we go deeply to find this, to find those people who had great talents, who can produce the great things. We have to expose this to the world. We have to prove the world that Africa was forgotten continent. Africa was forgotten, but due to that, it was never lost. Nothing was lost, but everything that was there, it is still existing, and they are still reborning again. So welcome back. I am the Kenyan Explorer here, and welcome to my YouTube channel as we speak concerning Africa. And Africa being the forgotten continent, everything that is very good that you may look and see that is so interesting, Africa, it came from Africa because Africa was the source of mankind. Africa was the source of everything. In today's world, you know, I think that that's my perspective, and I think that the world or the Western powers, the European countries, they are fearing Africa so much because they have many reasons why they fear Africa. First of all, they fear Africa because they believe that when they let Africa unite, then Africa is going to produce wonders. Africans are going to make wonders to the world. Africa is going to do something that has never been seen to the world. And if you don't take keen or caution about what is happening today, then Africa, believe me, will one day overtake Europe, America in economic and in everything. Not just only economy, not only innovation, but everything, because we are doing good, we are doing great. I remember in Bible when we speak about the black people. The black people, this is a generation of Jacob, and the generation of Jacob was very, very feared, was very, very strong, and that's why it had a very competitive. It faced a lot of challenges, and that is what I believe that Africa is. We generated, or we evolved from that generation, and that's why even after Africa was colonized, Africa was undergone several challenges, you know, all that problems that the black people were undergoing all those years. Africa has been looted, has been manipulated for a very long time. Africa has been destroyed for many years, over decades. But you know what? Africa, if you come today in Africa, you cannot be aware that Africa was colonized. You cannot be aware that Africa was the slave trade was happened in Africa. You cannot know that Africa has been tightened or has been declined to produce or to do some things which are great things. In South Africa, there is this guy, Pan-Africanist, who's called Julius Malema. Julius Malema was once asked, how long will we continue living like this as Africans? Because we have the ability of doing anything that we can do. We have the capability of producing anything that I can do better or can do best in this world. But you know what? There is some agreements that was put there by the former colonizers, and these agreements limits Africa of doing some things. For example, Africa is not allowed, or any country from Africa is not allowed to build any flying machine. They are not allowed to produce maybe things like vehicles or any machine.
We don't produce television.
But why? Because this government has gone into trade agreements with other countries. Let's take Germany, for instance. Our trade agreements with Germany says we cannot manufacture a car. We will assemble the cars from Germany. And we don't just assemble, we put money to assemble German cars. Why should we do that? Why should we not manufacture our own car? Where is the market? Africa loves everything South African. They will buy from us. We produce a fighter jet. A fighter jet. If we can produce a flying machine, shouldn't be difficult to produce a car. Denel has demonstrated that we've got the capacity to do this. Denel manufactures army vehicles. And why are we not producing a car? It's trade agreements with Europe, with America, with UK, that you are not going to get involved in this.
They are not allowed to do that. They are only allowed to assemble these manufacturers, this machine from foreign countries, and not just only assembling, but to put more money in assembling those things. So how long will we continue living like this? We like speaking about Ibrahim Traoré because first of all, I'll thank Capt.Ibrahim Traoré for what he has tried to do in Africa today, because Africa's day today is being are putting hopes where all Africans have now put their eyes there. They believe that this is the only one a kind of a guy who is going to save them from all this a chain of colonialism, and all mind colonialism, economic colonialism, all this. He has tried. He came and tried to show Africans that this is not this is not the way that we have to do. We have been admitting everything to these people for a very long time, and it is our time that we have to do what we think that it can help us, what we know that is we are capable of doing. And that's why you are seeing many young Africans are coming up every day with different ideas, different things that they are doing, and they are exposing to the world, so that the world can be aware and can know that the best can come from Africa. And that is what really is happening. There are some people, Africans, who have been condemning Ibrahim Traoré, as they call him a dictator, a revolutionary, all these sort of bad names, a leader who is undemocratic. But but let me ask you one question. We have many Africans, and a lot of many African leaders, they believe that they follow, and they are firm believers of democracy. But what have they did or have they done to their country so that their people can be satisfied and can be can appreciate and say that this is what democracy has provided to us? This is the question that we have to ask, because they have been talking about democracy, and at the same time, these leaders, their country has no peace. Their country is all over a crisis, war, and everything. These leaders who believe themselves that as they are very democratic, they have been doing nothing to their countries but just assaulting and make the life of their citizens being miserable. So these are the leaders that they have been calling themselves democracy, while accusing Capt.Ibrahim Traoré of not following democracy. But all that is happening today in Africa in a positive way, they're being done because there is someone behind who make it to happen, and that person is Capt.Ibrahim Traoré. We have been told that all that is that we are being shown from Burkina Faso is that an artificial intelligence, AI. But when you go physically to the ground, there is nothing good that is coming from that country. But we have seen that all ideas and all skills that the Africans today are using is because they told by this leader. He said clearly that we have to do our best. We have to make sure that all that we have, all that we can, we are able to do, we have to do it today, because this is our time, and we have to work towards our continent. We have to work towards our will and our ideas to make sure that everything that we have been working towards it happens. Because There is no any other day that this will happen, and this is the only generation that can transform the whole of an entire continent of Africa, because there are so many people who came and tried to do it, but because they lack the support from the fellow Africans, that's why a lot of things, a lot of dreams, a lot of intervention never came up to be known or to be appreciated to the globe. But at this time, since we have come to know what we want, where we came from, and what we can do, then this is our time, and we don't have to allow any manipulation, any brainwash, anything that we feel like it's okay and it's beneficial to us. Then we have to work towards it right now, and that's why before I say anything else, I have to appreciate this leader, because he has come and show Africans the best way of leadership, the best way on what we have to do, we as Africans, because we have to work towards our continent. We have to build our Africa, because there is no any other place that we can go and be welcomed and appreciated and feel free, feel access to any place more than Africa. So we have to work towards this. We have to build this, because this is the only place that we have, that we can be celebrating that we have a home, we have a place that we call a home, which is Africa. So we have a lot to do, and I'll make sure that I'll do my best to provide and deliver to you a lot that is being done in Africa from the young people who are coming up each and every day. They don't sleep, but they come up with different ideas, which when we as Africans sit down and put more effort on towards it, then we are going to change something here in this world. We are going to change and bring a lot of change from what has been used to be there. We are going to change, and we are going to change the system that has been used to be known as the strong and firm. So this is our time. Africa has awakened up. I thank all African youths who have awakened up, and they are doing their best to make sure that they save their continent. They do their best to make sure that they get the best leadership.
Of strong, of power, of dignity, of freedom for Africa. Africa for Africans, my brothers.
So hey presenter, tell me what to have to book with the comment section. I will make sure that I respond to each and every question that pops in my comment section, because we have to discuss about this. Thank you for your time and stay tuned. Peace out.